Here is the aftermath of 35 hours of engineering labor in order to design the box. Guys, I just dropped my girlfriend off at the airport. I've got 1 week to make her secret Christmas gift. I'm gonna do it right now and I'm taking you guys with me, so stick around. Alright guys, so I have some prototypes running on the printers in the background, and obviously when they're done I'm going to show them to you, but here's the rundown of what's going to happen. My girlfriend is getting a necklace for Christmas, and it's going to come in a obvious necklace box, but I don't want it to be easy to get to. I want it to be a challenge, and I want it to be a pretty challenge. I want to be able to wrap it up, and I want it to look like a regular present. This is what I'm doing. Alright guys, this is not an easy challenge. So one of the requirements is that when the finished product is done, it would look like an ordinary box that can be wrapped like any normal present. The next requirement is that this box has locks on it. And I'm not talking about one, I'm not even talking about two, I'm talking about 4 locks. And every single lock is going to have a different key. This is going to be a very difficult box to open up. So I have a very early stage prototype here. I'm going to have 2 of these. Each of these is going to represent half of the box that I'm producing. The holes are going to line up when you put the 2 pieces of the box together. You're also going to have a pin. This pin is going to have a flat side which does not fit through the hole. The other side of the pin is going to have a hole drilled through the center of it. When you fit the 2 sides of the box together, the holes line up, you push the pin through, and then you take the lock and you push the lock through the hole in the pin. When you do that, you're able to lock the lock. That joins the 2 sides of the box together, and then it does not come apart. The next thing is that this lock is going to fit flush inside of a channel. That channel is going to allow you to put a lid on top, which then makes the lock invisible and flush with the box. Now what you guys are looking at right here is a second prototype box. The highlighted section is where I will put the necklace, and of course you have the 2 pinholes and this lip right here. So this lip is going to be mated flushly to this highlighted lip on the lid, and then obviously these pinholes right here are going to line up perfectly with these pinholes. So the pin is going to go through the bottom of the box, it's going to go through the top of the box, and then it's going to pop out on this side. And you can see the pin has a 7mm hole drilled straight through the center of it, and that is going to allow the lock to clamp the pin, and then the lock is going to lay nicely inside this coffin. This coffin is going to have a lid placed on top of it, and you will never ever know that there's a lock keeping this box together. Now over here on Cura, to kind of visualize this a little bit better, you're going to see this right here. This is the bottom of the box and this is the top of the box. So you've got your cavity to put the necklace in. Now if I slide this over here, you're going to see that obviously the pinholes align, and the way that it's going to be assembled is that the top of the box is going to be flush like this on that lip. Like I said, the pinhole is going to go through the pin is going to go through the bottom of the hole. It's going to poke out of this hole. The lock is going to lay in, lock down, and then you're never going to see it. So now that I've showed you on the computer, let's go look at the actual prototype, which is now done being printed. Now this concept is much greater and more complete than the last one. It makes a lot more sense. So you've got the bottom half of the box here on the left, the lid or the top half of the box here on the right, and you've got 2 pins going through the bottom of the box and directly into the lid. The final design is going to have 4 pins as previously mentioned, but you get the idea. So here the pin goes through, the lock goes through the hole in the pin, and it can fit neatly inside this coffin area. This coffin is going to then get a lid, so this is completely flush on the top. And if you are able to get the keys to all the locks and you can remove the locks, you can push the pins out the back side, open the box, and get whatever is inside. Now this gives you a better idea of what the final design is going to look like now that the pins are the correct length. This does, however, still have one problem. So unless you depress the shackle against the bottom of the lid, the box is going to have the ability to open. Now if you depress the shackle, then the box isn't going to be able to open. But you can't depress the shackle all the way to the bottom, because if you do that, you see that the lock housing rises. If the lock housing rises too high, then you're not going to be able to put a lid on top of these locks. So when you wrap the gift, it's not going to look correct. There's going to be a little airy spot right here. It's just not going to be right. So that is where our friends, the 22mm diameter, 1mm thick washer comes into play. If I put washers on this pin before I lock it, and I put the lock above the washers, that is essentially depressing the shackle all the way to the bottom, and it's going to prevent the lock box from opening, just like this. I'll show you what I mean. So for this case, I've already installed the pin with the washers on them, but I'll do it for the other one. So go ahead and put the pin through the hole. I'll put the washers on the pin. In my case, 5mm and washers will do the trick. And then grab the shackle and put the shackle through the lock, and then the lock comes out the other side. And I find it is easiest to use the key in order to get this shackle engaged. So this is definitely tricky, but it only has to be done once. It's now in, and you will see that the box no longer opens, and you cannot look inside and get a peek at what is in there. We are printing some final design parts, but before I show you the final design, I want to go run you through some modifications I made of the prototype. So here we go. So the final design is going to have 4 locks, 1 in each corner. Now if 3 of the locks become unlocked, that's going to allow the box to rotate, and it's going to allow you to get premature access into the center of the box. So I have added a lip around the inside, which is going to prevent the box from rotating. That's going to prevent you from pretty much accessing the box until all 4 pins are removed. That's going to require you to separate the box like this. You're not going to be able to rotate it in any direction. So the next modification I made is to the washers. So the washers get installed around the pin right here. Now I have raised this entire area, so I will need less washers. So currently I've got 5 1mm washers on this pin. So I've raised this area by 3mm, and I will still likely need to use some washers, because calculating the exact distance I need to raise this by is very, very difficult, especially with shrinkage and whatever else happens. And so another design I made is I added some rotating dials down here. Now that allows you to get the shackle off of the pin much, much easier. Guys, this is the final prototype. Like I said, I am already printing the final design, modeled it up. I'm going to go to the CAD software right now. I'm going to show you what it looks like. What you guys are looking at is an assembly file of the final design. So first off, I want to point out the modifications to the final prototype that I just showed you guys. So the first one is this raised area around the pin. This is only raised by 3mm, so I likely will still need washers, but that means I'll need less washers, less things to keep up with, less things to lose, and an all-around cleaner design. The next thing are these knobs on the bottom. So these knobs allow the pins to rotate. Without being able to rotate the pins, getting the shackle on and off the pin is a very, very difficult task. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is make the lid invisible, and you guys are going to see, first off, the cavity for the actual jewelry box. So that is right here. Next, you guys will see the lip for allowing the lid to not rotate. So if I make the bottom invisible, you guys are going to see that the lid is has a cutout. Now this cutout rests cleanly on top of this lip, and that lip prevents the lid from rotating. So if you have
any three of these pins removed, that's going to allow the lid to spin out of the way and allow you to pull the box out of the center without actually unlocking all three locks. Having this lip, like I said, it prevents it from spinning, and it forces you to pull the lid off of the lip in order to gain access to what's on the inside.
Alright, so we have some updates. So over here you can see where the locks go. This is going to be the lid. This has been printing for 13.5 hours. It estimates 4 hours remaining. Over here we're going to have the actual bottom of the box. Now you can see where the jewelry box sits in the middle. This has also been printing for 13.5 hours, and it estimates 24 remaining. I'm not confident in that number, but maybe it's right. I don't remember what Cura estimated. Over here we have a case for the box. It is just a hollow shell essentially, and the box is going to sit and rest in there. And then this is a lid for the case. This one printed for about 7 hours before it completed. So I've got the final design, and I'm going to go ahead and recap the requirements. So one of the requirements was that it needed to be clean and flush and just look nice so it can be wrapped. And that is what this outer case is. This outer case allows it to be a clean, flush, flat box all the way around so it can easily be wrapped and be disguised as a normal gift. Now when you lift the lid, you're instantly greeted with all of the locks. These locks are obviously the main attraction, in my opinion. That might not be for everyone, but once you lift this box out, this is the carrying case, if you will. And I have already unlocked these locks for ease of the video. However, on the bottom, we've got these knobs. When you turn the knobs, it rotates the pins. Now this allows you to get the locks on easier and possibly off easier. So because I've already unlocked all the locks, we just need to remove the pins. So the pins are solid plastic, so they can't be broken as easy. Everything else is about 25 or 35% infill. The total weight of the box with nothing else, the locks not included, the total weight of the box and the carrying case is about 2.5 kilograms. Now I have opted to keep some washers, as you have seen in the previous clips. That is due to wanting the box to be shut and look as good as possible. Now, you might have also remembered that the lid could rotate if only one lock is left. So this lid does not rotate, it only lifts up. And that's the only way to get the box open. So once all of the locks and pins are removed, that allows you to lift the lid up and you'll be greeted with the final gift. Guys, this has been really fun, but this has been about 35 hours of engineering design process, from the designing, the prototyping, CAD, all of it combined, guys. Printing has been about 85 hours. It's been amazing, but it's been so time consuming. So please, drop me a like if you like this video. Drop me a subscription. Put some comments down below, guys, because I wouldn't be able to do this without you. Anyway, I've got more projects like this coming, so please stick around and wait for the next one. Guys, one more thing. Please go spend time with your family on this holiday. It's a great time to make memories. Tell them you love them. Drink some coffee, drink some hot chocolate, eat peppermints, whatever your family tradition is, go spend time with them, make the memories that are gonna last forever. Merry Christmas, guys.